And I am coming to you from Rythmia Life Advancement Center in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. And we are here doing our Facebook Live segment, I Got My Miracle. And I have my friend Patrick here with me today.
Hi, Sally.
Hi, how are you, Patrick?
Evening.
His story is so powerful that we collectively just said, it has to be Patrick. He has to do the interview today. So I want Patrick to share a little bit of his story. So thank you for joining us. And Patrick, can you tell me what brought you to Rythmia?
I had been researching ayahuasca, or interested in it, probably for about 2 years. Watching videos, mostly YouTube, and just understanding that it was a medicine that is certainly not mainstream, but it's been around since early times of man. And it seems like a miracle medicine because back 5,000 years ago, whoever figured it out in the Amazon jungle, that stripping off the leaves of one plant and brewing the bark of another and mixing them together would allow you to have an experience that the individuals would never apply to. Mm-hmm. And then to have the result give your mind the flexibility to look at issues and events in your life that in a way you've never looked at them before.
Right. So let's talk about the events in your life.
Okay.
That brought you here. Yes, I'm assuming there was an event or something in your life that kind of was a catalyst for you wanting to do the medicine?
The catalyst was a very close death in my family 14 months ago. My oldest son of two, 28-year-old son, whose name was Dylan, died in a tragic kayaking accident on a large lake. He was celebrating his 28th birthday. His girlfriend got him an Airbnb that they could stay together for 3 days. And on the last day, this was a nice place on the lake in Sonoma County. And on the last day, he said, I'm going to take that kayak out and I'm going to go for an adventure. Mm-hmm. And he took his life vest. He took a couple of beers. He took plenty of water for hydration. He was quite the Boy Scout in all of this, mm-hmm. and did everything the way I would have done it. But he put the life vest in the kayak and he went out, and an hour later he called his girlfriend and said, hey, this is great. I'm having fun. I'll be back in an hour and we can kind of pack and get ready to return tomorrow. And what happened, as far as I can understand, is most likely when he was getting in, this is a lake that didn't have a lot of clarity in it. You couldn't see 2 inches below the surface. Mm-hmm. And what I noticed is it was very silty. And I believe what happened is he kind of rolled out of his kayak when he was going to walk it back up the shore. He thought the depth was shallower than it was, so he reached down with his feet, didn't see the bottom of the lake, and pushed down, and turns out it was probably about 2 feet deeper than he was tall, and his feet stuck in the silt. And he died. Not only did he die, but he went missing for 4 days. And everybody who knew him and loved him went up there. We had 60 people in the search party, people mm-hmm. from his work, mm-hmm. people from his football team, people from his fraternity, family members. Mm-hmm. And we were all there knowing that this wasn't going to be a good result. Yeah. And finally he was found, and the process of searching for him was just amazing because everybody got to share what Dylan meant to them. Oh. So bottom line on this, I had an awful lot of grief issues.
Of course.
Issues which I honestly thought, and I was convincing other people of this, that, you know what, I'm really happy because I'm processing this really well.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I had been dating someone for about 3.5 years. Mm-hmm. And out of all the people I knew, she would be the one to give me the best feedback. And I had told her, you know, it's great. I'm doing well here. And she sat me down and said, no, you're not. And I couldn't argue with her. So we talked about it, mm-hmm. and we had talked about rythmia. She decided it was best for me to go on my own, which I like doing things on my own anyway. Mm-hmm. A spirit like that enjoys time to himself. And this has just been the most wonderful discovery period. Yeah. Not only to deal with the grief of losing my son, mm-hmm. but to deal with trauma that I realized happened earlier in my life. Nothing that was necessarily anyone's fault. Right. I was raised by a beautiful family with 2 loving parents. All of my siblings, a sister and 2 brothers, we got along amazingly. No one ever had to say, I love you, because we all knew. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't have a real traumatized childhood, okay. But I discovered things in the process through taking the plant medicine and through the amazing team of shamans and helpers that helped everybody focus on what it was they needed to pull up, and the medicine just loosened everything in the brain so that it could happen. Beautiful. The way this village is designed is amazing because all of the food is taken care of, and the food is fantastic. It is mostly vegetarian. It's a little bit of fish and a little bit of chicken, and it all tastes really good. But it's nutritious. It's a piece of art when you put it on a plate, and I've never eaten that well in my life. All of your food is taken care of. All you're doing is putting what you want on your plate. Mm-hmm. So none of your time is spent waiting in a restaurant lobby. Right. None of your time is doing anything about yourself other than allowing your mind to get the best experience from this week here. Yeah. The nature that surrounds you in this place, from howler monkeys to 2 pairs of macaws that have adopted this complex to be their home, and to see them flying naturally around the beautiful grounds is just so awe-inspiring. Mm-hmm. Anybody that comes here to renew themselves, to repair relationships, to forgive people that they didn't realize they had to forgive, mm-hmm. It's a phenomenal investment. You can go on a vacation and have a nice time, but not necessarily heal anything about your soul. The ayahuasca is a magical medicine, and I'm so glad they call it a medicine. Mm-hmm. I've had psychedelic experiences in my late teens and up to my mid-20s, and all that's been is just entertainment, because there was no goal, there was no intent set. It was just, hey, let's listen to Joni Mitchell and watch the grass become the ocean. Mm-hmm. And that was fun. Mm-hmm. But to solve the pain that everybody experiences in their life, to actually be able to understand that is a great gift. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that I was not processing when my girlfriend said, no, you're not, don't fool yourself. You're not over your son's passing and you're not processing it well. That was my big goal here, was to understand what it was I wasn't processing. And what it turned out to be was I did not want to face the last 22 seconds of my son's life where he knew he was going to die. And that was my biggest fear. So I would get close to it and then my mind would go somewhere else and I would just avoid it at all costs. And that is what I had to get enough courage to do. And I got the tools through the medicine and through the shamans that taught me that right after the instant of terror where someone knows they're going to die, you explode into the most loving light that could ever be experienced. And what happened in my ayahuasca experience, when someone dies, time stops. And what I got the opportunity to be with my son right before he died.
And were you with him through the whole process?
Yeah, more than once.
Beautiful.
And it was beautiful because I could say, it's going to be nice. Don't worry. It's almost here. And then white, beautiful light. I heard him go. And I got to experience him die and go into love. And I got to die and come back being someone who has no fear of dying in the future. Yeah. I have a father who's 92 years old, and it won't be long for him. He's dealt with cancer and a few things, but he's still kicking it. But when he goes, it's going to be such a welcome place. Just the gift of knowing that the real truth is your body and your mind are connected, but when you pass, your soul will continue on, whether it gets reincarnated or whether it just sits in an amazing space. Your soul is not gone. Your soul is not lost.
It's eternal.
It is. And these shamans that actually teach it, and the support staff here at Rythmia that have lived this to the point where it is their mission in life to share this, it's a beautiful thing. And by far, it's been the best investment I've made in my life to ensure that my experience moves on in a positive direction.
Right. Peace of mind.
So I'll be recommending this to quite a few people, and the stories that come from everybody will seem bizarre, and the psychics or the soul surgeries that people talk about, where creatures will clamp onto their teeth. And
did you have any of those?
I did.
Did you?
I chose this amulet this amulet chose me after my second medicine. And so I said, oh, cool. How much is that? And it was whatever it was. It was $100. And I happened to have $100 bill in my pocket. I said, here. And later that night, when I was wearing this, it's a spider, and going the other direction, it is a scorpion. I had a half spider, half scorpion come up to me, latch on to a hole in my tooth, and shake all of the molecules in my mouth. And that happened 4 times during the evening. And after that, I got my miracle. I understood what all of this was about. My miracles, which you'll learn about in this course, are things that can come quickly, or they can take the entire week to come and achieve. And everyone has a different experience. Mine came early. And the blessing about that was I had 2 more ceremonies. And I just couldn't wait to hear what my mother Ayahuasca wanted me to look at in the next 2, because my son is in a good place and I'm in a happy place because of it.
Right.
So that was solved.
Yes.
And my experiences were just fantastic.
Perfect. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's amazing.
I'll briefly tell you about the last experience, which is the last day of medicine on Thursday, which is an extended all-night version of, I think I took the ayahuasca 3 times. My father was born on the Cheyenne River Indian Reservation in South Dakota. He has Indian land that they give to Indians that are born on the reservation. And it's always been a sense of pride that I'm part of the Lakota Sioux tribe. And I had asked in my intent, nothing to do with Indians or the reservation, I had asked, give me some inspiration in my art, because I've found out I'm quite an artist in the last 30 years. So give me inspiration in my art so that I can touch other people with what I create. And that was my intention. And then I took the ayahuasca and immediately woke up in an Indian campsite on the reservation, but probably 200 years ago. This was before they were decimated by frontierism and colonialism. And I got to see how the Lakota Sioux lived. I got to sit among the teepees. I actually remembered cooking buffalo meat with everyone else on a stick in the fire and tasting it. And when I tasted it, I said, this is interesting. And I heard my son's voice next to me. And he said, Dad, this needs salt. And so he had already passed and I had already accepted it, but hey, he's up there in the light and he got to be able to sit at the campfire while I did.
Right.
Now this is an all-night session. And in real time, it was all night that I was sitting with this group of my tribe. And it was fascinating. And I could see how hard their life was, but how much they depended on each other as a community, how much the mothers would feed their infants together, the importance of dogs in the community, things that if I were just writing a paper on, imagining what it would be like, I would have missed everything. So it's a mind-blowing experience. Just the creativity of your mind on ayahuasca, and to trust the process and trust the shamans. And if you feel like you can handle another portion of medicine, take it. And if you feel like you can't, lean in and take it. it's kind of a running joke, but it's not really a joke. You can show yourself your own courage, and as a result, get a remarkable experience from it.
Yes.
So,
wow.
As crazy as it feels like when you communicate this to people, it's life changing, and you can't go wrong with it. Mother Ayahuasca gives you exactly what you need
Yes.
to find peace and to improve your life while you're here,
and
removes a lot of the fear. I didn't have too many relationships I needed to repair. Believe me, a lot of people do. And the blessings that they get from the hard work and the long nights of ayahuasca, oftentimes toward the end, after everyone shares, it's 4 or 5 in the morning. And then you have your first activity at 8 o'clock in the morning. So you get maybe an hour or 2 sleep. You don't miss the sleep. It is, there's enough medicine in your system to keep you going. And it's just a great experience. I'm going to be sharing this with a lot of important people in my life. And I have no doubt that it's going to make a big difference in theirs.
Perfect.
How's that?
That's beautiful. So
didn't talk too much.
No, you're perfect. You're right here. So Patrick had an amazing experience, and the veil is very thin to the other side. So your son is with you. He's not very far at all. He's not very far.
And the blessing there also, when my son passed, my other son, who's 15 months younger than him, he took the bull by the horns, and he organized the search for his brother. And he approached Dylan's mother and I, and didn't ask us, but he told us, I'm doing the memorial. And it was with such focus, and this was how he needed to process the loss.
Beautiful.
And so many good things came from a tragic death of someone that was way too young, but my son did get to see who he was going to become. He wasn't a child hit at age 4 that never got a glimpse of his future. He was great with people, and everyone who came to celebrate his life couldn't speak enough about what a great man he became.
Wow. So you had like severe tragedy. I mean, they say losing a child is like the worst, the most stressful thing.
No one can understand, who hasn't done it,
right,
how that plays in your heart.
Yeah.
And it's just something you have to deal with. And sometimes people don't get through it, or some people get so injured that their life goes kind of in a downhill spiral. I'm grateful that I found this opportunity to renew my knowledge and renew my understanding about the human spirit. And there's no downside to this. Beautiful. And the ayahuasca experience is amazing.
Yeah. So amazing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So, wow, what a story. So you feel like your heart has healed?
My heart has healed. My heart healed after the second ceremony.
Beautiful.
My heart and my soul merged.
Perfect.
They give you a set of 3 intentions and goals to achieve. You can add your own, but it's nice to keep those as the main steps, because all shamans who run an amazing ceremony, these are the intentions that they use to get the most out of the program. And everyone can apply what's being asked to their life. And when it all becomes when it all comes into focus and you
Mhm.
start getting the answers from the medicine,
Right.
it becomes so simple.
Stick with the program.
Stick with
The program is very intentional. It's
Yeah.
designed for a very specific reason. So you've told our audience this afternoon why to come. The food is
Mhm.
great. You've got community. We've got a medical, we've got a medical license. So it's a very safe place to come and drink ayahuasca.
One more point. Doing this we had one of the largest groups ever.
It's a large group.
Doing this with 100 strangers who are here to do what you're here to do, it is so easy to share your story and your experience because they have nothing to judge you on other than how you are now, who you are when you come across to them, and everyone shares their own story as much as they're comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes away an awful lot of the apprehension in the system.
Yep.
Because you can see everyone else being as brave as you're trying to be,
right,
to get the right answers. And it's the perfect environment, and it's beautiful here in Costa Rica.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It's beautiful. So thank you, Patrick, for sharing. So Rythmia Life Advancement Center, we have amazing food. We have a beautiful setting. We're in the jungle. We have medical. We are safe. We do 4 ceremonies. That's impactful.
Mm-hmm.
4 ceremonies is very important in our design of the way we do down here.
Each ceremony is different.
Uh-huh.
They're done by different shamans.
Mm-hmm.
There is a male experience, a femininity experience. The spirit of ayahuasca is a mother. And when you have that experience, you feel the maternal love and beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just to put this on a, you just feel it in your heart and you understand what it is when it is.
Yes.
And the Colombian trip at the very end that is all night long is such a great experience. Oh, and we had 2 weddings
Mm-hmm.
on ours, and the weddings happen, from what I understand, fairly often.
Mm-hmm.
But the ceremony and everyone celebrating it, it wasn't just a 10-minute service.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's
is.
so
It's
beautiful.
awesome. It was exciting for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very full week. Patrick had an incredibly full week. He's excited.
Stop me.
It's exciting. So anyway, we would love for you to come join us down here at Rythmia Life Advancement Center in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. The phone number is posted. Come get your miracle. All right. Thank you so much for hanging with us today, and we'll see you next week.
Good times.
Take care. Good times.